All right, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Kalpala Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Barakah Yahweh Kakadash, double honors the elder apostle, great Milto, who will, and stereotyping the Akna put to the truth across the four corners of the earth to the pure power Yahweh, and outside of the hope or let, and who the world inwardly called God is named Yahweh, and who the world inwardly called Jesus Christ is named Yahweh Shai. And we're Hebrew Israelite that consists of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian, and those in line attended go back to the 12 tribes of Israel, due to the scattered amongst the nations. All right, it's the article on RT. Presidential hopeful state France should leave NATO and partner with Russia. All right, and this is the presidential candidate running for France. All right, and it's his prophecy. All right, at the beast. They're gonna shall hate the whore. All right, the beast and the whore is one but two separate entities. All right, because the beast is NATO and the EU, and then the whore that rides the beast. Because when you ride the something, you controlling it. And that's America. All right. Let's run to the article. Jean Luc, let's go down. The leader of a French leftist party, the presidential hopeful, has called for the country to pull out of the NATO alliance, revealing that he regards Russia as a partner for Paris rather than an adversary. The leader of the leftist La France Instomas, pronounce that wrong, France Unbound Party, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, shared his insight on the new Cold War and France's place in it during a major interview with France Interradio on Monday. Mélenchon further elaborated on the point he made during the interview in a long Twitter thread. The politician said the country should take part in efforts to de-escalate the international situation rather than follow Washington in the new Cold War against China and Russia. Leaving the NATO alliance altogether would therefore be beneficial for France, as it won't be part of the military aventurism of the U.S. Mélenchon believes. I am for leaving NATO. We need to de-escalate. If we leave NATO, we will not be dragged into the Cold War logic that the Americans maintained with Russia and China. He stated. All right. The politician also said he regarded Russia as friend partner rather than an adversary. It was the West that got the NATO bloc into the current standoff with Moscow, breaking its promises on eastward expansion of the alliance. Mélenchon stressed is that Russia is a partner. I do not agree with making an enemy of it. We brought 10 countries into NATO in the East, which was seen as a threat by Russia, especially when you install anti-missile system in Poland, the politicians did. Right, because we all know what the United States goal is, all right? They want to get as many countries against Russia and also the countries that are border with Russia to be allies with, all right? Which will make Russia less powerful, all right? And that's why Secretary of State said the other day that he believed Putin's desire is to go back to the Soviet Union days, all right? With Ukraine and all these other countries used to be a part of that, all right? But now, under the NATO alliances. He also voiced opposition toward any plan to accept Ukraine into NATO. A move like this would further erode the security situation in Europe, as it would be inevitably perceived by Moscow as a new threat against it, he said. The veteran politician has announced he intends to run for president. All right, that's pretty much it on that. Let me get to the article. To the scriptures. All right, it's Revelation 17 and verse 12. And the 10 horn without thoughts are 10 kings. All right, it's the 10 kings. I'll run through them real quick. Where I had it at? So there you go. There you go. All right, the 10 kings are Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, and Germany. All right. The 10 kings, okay. Oh, the 10 king, the 10 horn. All right. Which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as king 1 hour with the beast. All right. President ruling that different nations. All right. All under the alliances under the with the beast. All right, with the NATO and the EU. All right. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Right. So they're the ones that making what the beast is. All right. And you can see America, the whore that writeth it, is controlling the beast. All right. Now I'll jump down to verse 15. And the 10 horn without thoughts upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. All right. And look, and who's the whore? America. All right. So we get to the point where the beast gonna end up hating the whore. All right. And we see France want to make that move. All right. Which is all property. All right. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right. And that's pretty much the thermonuclear missile. All right. The ICBM. Not going to do that. Okay. So France going to end up shooting missiles onto its former allies, America. All right. For Yahweh had put in their heart the mind to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the word of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. Right, prophecy. All right. It said, the scripture said he ruleth in the kingdom of men. All right. And the woman without thought is that great city which reigneth over the king of the earth. Right. We're talking about America. Okay. Let's go back up real quick. Verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of name of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right, we're talking about the NATO of the EU. All right, verse 4, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. All right, and that's talking about America. The pictures. All right. 7 head, 10 horn on the beast. Having 7 head and 10 horn, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stone, and pearl, having a golden cup in her hand, full of an abomination and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great. Right, because the whore is a mystery. All right, everybody don't know who the whore is. All right, and Babylon the Great. All right, it's not talking about ancient Babylon. It's talking about America. All right, because Babylon, the Hebrew for ball, which means confusion, and this is a land of great confusion. The mother of harlot and abomination of the earth. That's America. Okay. Right. I just remember something. So right now, with the whole NATO and the EU, you got some of the countries that are strong and some are weak. All right, which is not really a good foundation to have. All right, it's partly weak and it's partly strong. All right, and that's where we at right now with the fourth beast. All right, at the feet and clay. All right, this is Daniel 2 and 40, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and to do it all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou thought the feet and toes part of potter, and that's talking about the Roman Empire. All right, and whereas thou thought the feet and toes part of potter clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, and that's what we're in right now. All right, among the NATO and the EU. Okay, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, all right, which are the stronger nations, like America, France, the Britain, the UK, Germany, all right, those are the iron, and the other countries are the clay. All right, you got all these other different countries that's part of NATO that not even relevant like that. All right, but there shall be in the strength of the iron, for as much as thou thought the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toe of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou thought iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay, right? Because they're not in agreement with each other, all right? They all have different agenda and different idea or how to do things, all right? In the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. All right, and that's the kingdom of heaven. All right, and the kingdom shall not be heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. All right, it's only going to be unto the Israelite. All right, nobody else going to rule after us. All right, okay, it's going to be an everlasting kingdom. Okay. But it shall break in pieces and consume all the kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. All right? For as much as thou thought that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hand, that it break in pieces the iron, and that's representation of how Shai coming back in the chariot and destroying these nations. All right? And that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power Yahweh had made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. All right? So these prophecies are definitely going to come to pass. All right? And it's the indicator that it's going to happen. All right? This article. All right? France is one of the seven head, one of the 10 horns of the beast. All right? And part of the iron mixed with miry clay at the toe. That we just woken up, read about Daniel's dream, all right, of the king's statue. All right, so this is prophecy, man. So Abba Rathadah, our Father, Lord willing, that this continues to expand to other countries leaving the NATO and the EU. So with that, Shalom.